Namaste everyone. Hope every one of you are doing great. Welcome to channel Project Nepal. So today we are fortunate enough to have one of our beloved friend, a psychologist in profession, to be with us in this podcast, and we will be dealing with different aspects: mental health, overall well-being, psychology in general. So first and foremost, I'll just like to thank Subham Bhai for being part of this podcast. And in general, I'll just want to ask, who is Subham, and like what does he do?
Okay, so I'm Shubham, as you said, and as a psychologist, I simply help people enable their mind to start working in their favor.
So one general question, so I know psychology is one of those very sought after courses because everybody wants to know the other person's behavior, other person mentality. People want to know about other person. What intrigued you to be part of like this profession?
Yeah, so I've been a seeker from my very childhood, and I always used to ask very serious and profound questions regarding my existence in general, right from the very childhood. I would say earliest I remember was when I was 8 years old, when I would question where do we go when we die.
That's a very young age to ask oneself.
Of course.
And
So I've always been this curious person.
that's great, sir. One major thing you talked about existence.
Hmm.
Like people in their daily life, like sometime, like as you mentioned, you as you were younger, as young as 8, you were questioning your existence.
Yeah.
But a lot of people after their adulthood, a lot of people in their elderly ages, like look for that existence. Like what is that thing? So if you can like take our audience through like why do people face existential crisis, and what is that meaning of like what is this concept of existence, if you can shed some
Sure.
light.
So it's not that people always question that later in their life. People do get questions when they're growing, but the thing is they choose to suppress it because once they do not get answers to things, once they are shut down in their families or in the society, they usually don't take the courage to keep questioning, or they probably aren't rebel enough
Hmm.
or maybe crazy enough like me to keep questioning until they find the right solutions.
That's to certain extent like that what people, a lot of people do, as you mentioned, the suppression of thing. And I totally believe sometime like every one of us here in this earth has certain kind of purpose, and that actually keep our existence intact with this life. Otherwise, like what happens is I've seen, because I've been into working with a lot of professionals into the field of psychology and mental health. I've seen people at the age later down the age, or even in the I've heard of concept like midlife crisis.
Mm.
Like what is the reason for those things?
Yeah.
I want to know in general, like why do people face midlife crisis? Even students who are purposeless
Yeah.
sometimes are really confused. Like what's the psychology behind?
There's no midlife crisis as of now. The entire life is in crisis and it can happen at any age.
Hmm.
People at 20 are feeling like they're 70 already.
Yeah, I feel that same.
So the entire life has
Sometimes.
become a crisis. It is a chaos. And it is happening because they are overloaded with information, I believe. They are not designed to take that much information. The kind of exposure they're having at such little ages, our system was never designed to take all of
True.
that. And now we cannot handle that. Why will the chaos not happen?
Yeah, that's a very relevant point. So like I was just talking to one of those parents, and he said that the children are these days are exposed to social media, and I was talking about the same thing, that the brain is not developed to take so much of information right now.
Yeah.
Like we all have like certain level of development, we all like have that uh, cognitive functioning that develops with time, and at in such an early ages people, especially the kids, are being like exposed to such social media with vast information, and they're not able to comprehend. So what do you think, like what should parents do, like because I've also seen like it's an escape for parents to
Mm-hmm.
give their child a phone. Like
Mhm.
what's an alternative, because child is bound to get phone and he's bound to get exposed. So what should parents do for such kind of situations?
I mean, simple regulations, there's nothing as complicated as people make it. Because I would say they just want to avoid problems and it is their core habit. it is not related to their children in the first place. It is their core habit which they have been carrying right from their childhood.
Hmm.
Now, even if they are adults as parents, they are still just overgrown babies. They are avoiding their problems. They have not learned to deal with their problems, and that's why when their children are being annoying, they find a way to avoid that as well.
Very, very,
They'll have
very
to
important
learn
message.
first how to start dealing and face their problems head on,
Hmm.
because if they don't, they'll just pass on that crisis to their children as well. And then later, if these children don't learn to deal with their crisis, they'll also pass on that.
Very, very much like relevance, or because I've like heard of this same context, like unhealed parents or unhealed child turn into an like unhealed parent sometime, and that can be a devastating future for the child himself, because his parent has not healed.
Hmm.
Like that's the concept, no sir? Like
Yeah.
because the the parents as a children when he was a kid, he might not have got the nurture or whatever thing was environment, and he did not heal from that, and now he's acting as a very maybe overprotective parent, maybe avoidant parent, and he's not taking care of his
So there's no
children.
one single reason to that, and I would like you to be very cautious about it. That now that you're saying, suppose because they were unhealed, so
Hmm.
this happened.
Yeah.
Not really. There's never one single reason for a crisis to happen. It is always a combination. So it is just that people need to learn how to face with their problems, and there will never be a single reason. So and it has become an escape for people actually.
Hmm.
If you look at today's chaos, whether in relationships, whether their personal problems as well, people are actually finding reasons like that
Yeah.
because something happened in the past.
Hmm.
Now I'm bound to have this problem,
Yeah.
and now they are living in this victimhood, and within this victimhood they are very comfortable.
Most people are comfortable because
Yes.
now they see themselves as a victim of the world, of the people around them, and it's actually giving them some kind of comfort. Ki, हाँ, I have been victimized.
People have actually found comfort in their struggles.
Hmm.
They don't want to give it up, because if they give up those struggles, who will take care of them?
Yeah, that's a very valid
They'll be
point.
very lonely.
And loneliness kills you.
They don't want to be lonely in the first
Yeah.
place.
So you mentioned about relationship.
Yeah.
Like we know, like relationship part of our life, society, civilization.
Hmm.
But today's scenario, we hear cases of divorces, a lot of divorces. Apart from divorces, there are other cases, like especially in arranged marriages,
Mm-hmm.
the murders are happening. I should not mention that, but people are like there's conflict between the two spouses,
Yeah.
and it's not coming out in favor of the relationship, and somehow the relationship is devastated. So, what's the reason for that in today's scenario? What do you think?
The number one reason is idealism.
So, what is that, sir? Can you please
Yes.
give us a
Idealism means that they have an ideal image in their mind, not of themselves, but of their partners. What they want for themselves is the best. Because on social media, they have seen very clear visuals of what ideal looks like.
Hmm.
They don't realize that this is fake.
Yeah.
But they have actually made this ideal image their reality, that this or nothing. Now, what is happening is when they are choosing their partners, they are comparing their current partner with the ideal image they have in their mind. Always.
And the gap is like too
The gap
vast.
is huge and it will never get filled up. But what is happening is that people are trying. The good part is that people are trying, and people are actually developing also faster than ever, because they have some set ideal standards.
Mhm.
But the thing is, it is never enough. People are not stopping, that is the problem. The art is to stop somewhere.
Hmm.
Yes. Now that you have found a partner, you have to stop somewhere. They don't stop. The mind is always chasing more and more. And when the partner is not meeting the ideal image that they have, it is a big problem.
No, so that's well mentioned, and you just mentioned about what real problem is, that the idealism that people have a certain ideal image of their partner, and when that is not able to meet up or match up with the like criteria, they end up like facing the reality and they get confused. A lot of things happen, sir. But sir, a major thing here, like what makes a perfect relationship then?
What makes a perfect relationship? Hmm. Good question. I would say first having a clear idea of what love is.
Hmm. We are usually confused. Like we think some people say that it's attraction, some people say like there's a good bond.
Yeah.
But what is that? So like, let us through that thing.
Yeah. That took a lot of experiences and research and all of that
Hmm.
all put together to figure out why people's definition of love is also in crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is really important to set those standards. I always do that with my clients, to really set those standards of what love is for you. Because what people are finding in their partners is what they're missing in their life.
Hmm.
And then they expect their partners to fulfill that. And when it is not fulfilled, it is a big problem again. But when you're actually loving, then those problems don't arise.
Yeah.
What you're doing is what you are seeking love from outside.
You're just expecting.
Yes. The idea is to seek love in general. And that creates a lot of troubles because now you don't have a lot to give, but you're always expecting.
Hmm.
How much will the other person give when you have nothing to give? Somebody will end up getting exhausted, yes.
No, no, that's a very, very, very genuine point, because I've heard like one of my friend, what does he says like, I expect a lot from you,
Mm-hmm.
and he like get emotionally somehow like what is it said, like emotionally he get drained,
Mm-hmm.
that I am giving a lot in this relationship but I'm getting nothing,
Yeah.
but he's expecting something, and that put him in crisis.
Even that giving is not giving
Hmm.
because he's also expecting secretly,
Huh.
which means he's also seeking outside. And that is actually immaturity. And what we are facing in the world is that what we call love is just immaturity. Because mature love is about giving from both ends. It is, and it is not affection. See, you cannot confuse love with affection.
Okay.
Because just making your partner happy, making your partner fulfilled with gifts, pleasure, and all sorts of things, all the good things in life, it doesn't make up for love. I would say love is all emotions all at once. That's why you feel butterflies in your stomach when you have actually experienced love. And I can claim that most people in the world will never experience love.
Hmm.
That is a big statement to make.
Yeah,
right?
that's a very big one, because everyone keep on saying that I'm in love. Even a kid who just been in a school, he says like I've been in love, and even like all those people in
Yes.
marriage says I'm in love.
Yeah.
But what you said is a major statement, that maybe it's attraction, maybe it's a
Everything
kind of
is
bonding.
that because I'll break it down for you. What love actually means. It means that you start experiencing all the emotions all at once.
Hmm.
Now, anxiety will be a part of it.
Yeah.
Sadness will be a part of it. Anger will be a part of it. But they are all in neutral sense. You look at anger as a negative emotion and you run to avoid it. You look at sadness as a negative emotion and that's why you run to avoid it, because you have put a label that it is negative. But when you look at all those emotions, happiness, sadness, anxiety, anger, all of that all put together, that that whole emotion together is called love. It's like when all of these emotions actually become stable, grounded, you'll experience that life starts to overflow from you. It's like my cup is so full.
Hmm.
I'm overflowing like a hot spring. I don't know what to do about it, so I give it to you.
Hmm. Then you start sharing.
Yes.
And that is what love is. Like,
Exactly.
first it should be from inside, then you should feel that butterfly, and as you mentioned, all those emotions.
Now that you're a hot spring,
Hmm.
will you expect that I should take that water back?
Hmm.
Somebody who is drinking from my spring, should they give something back? Will you expect that?
No.
No, right?
When I'm
Because you're a
full
hot
from
spring.
inside, yeah,
You're
I'm not gonna.
overflowing. There is no limit. A dog can drink from the same hot spring. A man, a woman, anybody. It's like when you are loving from your very nature, you'll give love to the room as well. It will, the moment you enter it, it will start to beautify. The energy will be different, right?
Yeah.
You'll give the same love to your partner, you'll give the same love to your friend, you'll give the same love to your parents. There's no difference because love is so innocent in the
True,
first
true.
place. It is all about that innocence. Love is dumb.
Hmm.
You can give it to anybody.
Anybody, yeah.
Yes. The only thing is that when you are seeking it outside, you never find it. You have to be love to be able to create that loving relationship.
Truly said. Like, most of the people are seeking out love outside. That's the major reason. That is why, and you explained it beautifully. I think that is the most beautiful concept that I have actually heard about love. I've heard of love like in movies. We have seen different kind of crazy loves. We have heard of a lot of people, but that's just a very simply put but beautiful definition. So we talked about emotions. We all know, like a lot of people know, like emotions are part of our daily life. We get high, we get low, things like that. But there's a concept in psychology called emotional intelligence.
Hmm.
And many people, like, I've read books, I've heard people saying that certainly IQ helps. We
Yeah.
all are born with certain kind of IQs,
Yes.
maybe genetics, maybe hard work. But apart from that, most of the successful people hold above average IQ. EQ, I mean to say EQ. So what is EQ, EI, that is emotional intelligence? How does it help? And I just want to ask, how can one develop EI? That's emotionally intelligent person.
Right.
Because I want to be that person.
Yes. So now that we have discussed love, you have successfully connected it with something very relevant, which is emotional intelligence.
Hmm.
Why? Because even when people say that they are very emotional, I can claim that they are not emotional.
Everybody
It is always
says.
their head working. Because what they call emotional is when they end up crying to certain situations,
Hmm.
when they end up being too expressive, when they end up taking reckless decisions, they start calling themselves emotional, but they're actually not. They are in survival from the head. And then when things don't meet a certain criteria, when the situations are not happening according to them, the brain gives an emotional reaction. So they're reactive, they're
They're
not
just
emotional,
reacting.
right? It's always their head working. The heart is shut down. When I was talking of love, it's about activating all of those emotions, right? Now, when you activate emotions, it means you are opening up your heart to something.
True.
When your heart is open, this is when you start becoming emotionally intelligent.
Okay.
This is when you actually start operating from emotions and you start caring, you start becoming more considerate, you start becoming more aware of what is around you because you can feel every single thing. You become sensitive to situations, not reactive.
Hmm.
Isn't that
Got
person
it. Got it.
highly emotionally intelligent?
Someone who
Somebody
doesn't
who
react.
has his heart open, basically.
Hmm.
His mind is not his master. His heart is
His
open,
heart is open.
and his mind is kind of his slave, which is a great one. His mind is not overpowering the system, and his heart is open. Isn't that person going to be highly emotionally
Yeah.
intelligent?
And that gonna actually help in a lot of aspects, whether it's personal, professional. Like as you mentioned, if someone is full of love or full of, like, just an example, a concept
Full
of
of
like
life.
full of life,
Hmm.
and then he has lot to offer to people out there.
Everything.
And
These are the people who are actually living life.
hmm,
Rest, everybody else is surviving.
very, very, very. great point out there, because most of people are in survival mode and they think they're living, but the reality is till you are emotionally mature, or you want to say emotionally intelligent, when you are full of life, then only I think the real life starts there.
Yes.
And an important question, sir, apart from like emotional intelligence, we heard like it's good to have
Right.
emotional intelligence. But at the same time, if we look at the negative side of this psychology and mental health, we keep on hearing that people are getting depressed a lot, people are getting anxious a lot. And what do you think? And why is the reason? Like everything is going good, people are getting a comfort life.
Yeah.
Okay, everything, we have technology, we have everything in our hand.
Right.
Life is much more comfortable than before, but still people are depressed.
Yeah.
So what's
That's
the
the very
reason?
nature of humans. If you don't have any problem, create it.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that you're in comfort, just look at the entire evolution. A man used to go to war. The energy is still there.
That's full
What
of
do you do with
energy.
all of that energy? You create chaos.
True.
You're creating chaos. Now, what's happening is that because you're in such comfort, you have very high expectations with life.
Hmm.
You're not able to meet that. You're not able to fight anybody. You're not able to
Go and chase something.
take your energy out.
Hmm.
Now, all of that energy in the system will get disrupted in some way or the other. And that's where they end up in ugly situations. And when they are in those ugly situations, they label it as negative, they label it as unwholesome, which they don't want,
Hmm.
and constantly being a subject to those situations make their emotions go down, 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 unless they start feeling depressed. Yes.
And that is that's the reason, that's the obvious reason about like people feeling this kind of negative emotions, or I would say, is this like, what is depression, sir? Like I just wonder, is it a negative emotion, is it a negative state,
It
like
is a
what is
prolonged
depression?
negative state, right?
Okay.
It is a state of prolonged sadness. You're not able to experience the other emotions.
And in the same question arises, so like especially in the society we are living, people doesn't really want to like be depressed, I would say. And actually when it comes to like families, they don't want their kid to be depressed. And like if someone is going through such kind of prolonged negative state, they just feel ki like he's just lazy kind of person.
Right.
And some or the other kind of stigmas or label happens, and he's not able to seek out help.
Yeah.
So like what do you think can be done to like actually make those people realize that depression is real? So can something be done, sir, like to like apart from awareness?
Why would you want to make them aware about it?
Because people are not able to access help.
Are they? Or do they don't want to take help?
That might be one of those things, but in society we are living, like people have fear like going to mental health clinics, seeking out help,
Yes.
or getting some therapies that may be really helpful, just because of stigma, like depression is a kind of mental illness or sort of things like that, and there's a taboo and the stigma from the family that actually is a burden.
I mean, as long as we are not talking of the really underprivileged side of the society, people are very well aware because they have access to all the information available in the world. They can directly contact a person in the US as well sitting in India. What is stopping them
Valid
from
point.
seeking help?
Yeah.
There are counselors available to work for free.
I got to know like there are a lot of
Students in the psychology industry are exploding.
hmm.
Even they don't have a job. Why would they not choose to help if they want to become a good professional?
True. It's just like people
Help
are not
is available, but you have to first be willing to go and find that. And we are not talking of the underprivileged because yes,
yeah.
that they are underprivileged in many ways. That is going to be an entirely separate conversation. But let's talk about the society we live in. Help is available at the click of a button, but you must be willing to seek that. And it's not that once you have found one professional, this person is going to be your ultimate solution. You'll have to try multiple times. Maybe you'll fail, but then you have to be willing to love the system enough
Hmm.
to create the best out of it. Why not?
Yeah, you mentioned it very like correctly that the industry is booming actually. The
Mhm.
mental health, the psychology, there's students, the volunteers
Yeah.
out there. But still, I would say like people are not uh, like going out for help or reaching out for help.
Yes.
Like, so what do you think like is like stopping them? Is it themselves? Is it not loving
It's
themselves?
always that. We are enough. We don't need other people in the world to destroy our lives. We are
Mm.
enough to do that for
Yeah,
ourselves.
that's the best answer. Yeah, because we are in somehow like we don't need other person to destroy us. We can internally like maybe through our thoughts, through our behavior, we can destroy ourselves.
It's always that.
And there's also a other aspect that if you want to seek help, there's always help available. And actually if you love yourself, then you will be seeking help because you will be needing that. Your body, your mind is actually needing help.
Mm.
And that's a simple like mathematics that you do, that if you want help, you get help, you seek help, and you love yourself.
I'll give you two examples. There are one kind of people. You're talking of stigma, right? That why are not people able to seek
Yeah.
help? There are people who go to ChatGPT and make that GPT a therapist.
Like, is it like the current generation or
Yes, the current generation.
okay?
They have become smart enough to go to GPT because they don't want to spend money and they don't want to talk to professionals.
Yeah.
They just go to ChatGPT, prompt it in a certain way, and make it a therapist, and they continue to talk to it as if this
Like he's a
bot
therapist.
is a therapist. And the kind of information that they have from pop psychology on Instagram, these people, I've heard that directly as well, that what can a psychologist even tell me? Like the kind of information they have stored in their heads.
Yeah.
They have started to believe very strongly that there's no amount of information some other person can give me because I've consumed all of
All
it.
the information. Yeah.
So they think that they are too smart to reach to a psychologist. But actually what they are missing out is that it is always our own knowledge that becomes our barrier.
We get limited by that.
We pay our mentors in lakhs to unlearn what I already know. Because I understand that for my growth, it is very crucial to unlearn what I've already known. Because it will only work for me to a certain level. Then I'll have to unlearn that, clean myself away, and then start learning from there to take myself to the next level. But they have consumed so much that now they are drowned in the heaviness of that knowledge themselves.
They're not able to get out of that heavy water or whatever is that. And one thing you mentioned very like correctly, that people don't want to unlearn. Like we stock a lot of information in our daily life, like we have learned something, all those perceptions, stigma that we have formed is part of our learning.
Yes.
And somehow that you mentioned that because people don't want to unlearn, they cannot learn apart like from a certain extent. Like they start we people usually say that like there's a bottom line for that, ki after certain learning you cannot like put a small context is if you are full of like water, then you cannot be pouring other water
You're
on.
also a vessel, right?
So
Now that you
was
have
the
poured
concept.
to the brim,
Hmm.
you'll start overflowing.
You start overflowing.
You'll have to empty the cup first to get something fresh.
No, that's beautiful. So talking about the same thing, Subham sir, I'm aware of certain things, like you have been into concepts of Buddhism. I think I've heard some of like things that
I'm a Jain, by the way.
yeah, you are a Zen. Actually, your inside is also like Zen
Zen tonic.
tonic. So I want to learn more about like what is this Zen philosophy. I've read certain Buddhist videos. I've read certain books.
Yep.
But I want to know in deep like what is this Zen thing? Like what is Buddhism and like why you like